Hey guys, I'm Jay Randall, and welcome back to my channel, where I discuss wisdom for the modern man. Today, guys, I got another video to react to. This one is brought to us by the YouTube channel Men on Mission. The title of the video, Why Men Don't Want to Get Married. Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
If your husband is a good guy, but you're ready for divorce, you're not a bad person. So don't let guilt get the best of you.
You're not doing him any favors by staying.
If anything, you're actually going to start building up resentment. Your relationship doesn't have to be toxic to validate your feelings of wanting to leave. Think of it this way. If he's a good guy, he deserves to be happy. That means he deserves to be with somebody who values him and wants him just the way he is. If that's not you, you gotta let him go. He may not see it like this right now, but you're doing both of you a favor.
This video is a perfect example of why so many young men are scared to get married, are scared to commit. You think about all the energy, the time, the money that you put into this relationship just for the woman to decide one day that even though you're a great guy, she's just not as happy as she could be, so she's gonna leave you. Like, that is horrifying. Marriage in our culture today is truly meaningless. Like, without God, marriage is meaningless. I don't understand why non-Christians get married. Maybe it's the tax benefits, I don't know. But ultimately, when they look at any kind of relationship from a non-Christian perspective, the goal is, how can I get as much happiness and enjoyment and personal fulfillment out of this arrangement as possible? And when that is no longer working for me, when I'm not happy anymore, when I'm not getting what I want out of this relationship, well, of course I'm just going to move on, because that was the whole point. People have become so quick to pull the trigger when they're not experiencing the happiness or satisfaction that they want in their marriage. Take this video for an example. This is a woman on TikTok who got thousands and thousands of likes on this video because she's telling a woman to leave her husband that is quote unquote good, that because she doesn't like him anymore, she doesn't love him anymore, she doesn't find happiness in the relationship.
Yep, and that is precisely why men don't want to get married anymore. Because women do not operate off of duty anymore. They operate off of happiness. And happiness is fleeting. Happiness comes and goes. You go through stretches of your life, long stretches where you may not be happy. So when you have someone who is not here because of duty and responsibility and commitment, and I made a vow to my husband and to God, but instead I made a vow to myself that I'm going to do what makes me happy, then anytime you're not happy, you're just going to leave. Literally. And that's why men are afraid. Women complain. I see videos all the time of women complaining that men don't want to commit anymore. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to get men to commit. They just want to play the games. They just want to play the field. As soon as the topic of commitment comes up, they run away. Are you surprised? And this is why, personally, and I think other men need to adopt this mindset as well, I don't care to give women commitment. I really don't care. I don't care. I don't care how much they want it. I don't give it to them. Or at least I don't give it to them easily. I don't care how much she begs for it. Like, I do not care. Because here's the thing. What I've noticed over the years, after watching all these videos and hearing women speak, women want commitment. They want marriage, but they don't value it. They don't value it at all. I'll give you an example. My sister, I think I told this story on the channel before, but my sister, right? There was the whole phase, that girls were going through when they wanted, all the girls were talking about wanting to be a dog mom, right? There's that whole phase where girls wanted little tiny dogs they can carry around and put little videos. And my sister fell into that. And she went to my mom and was like, Mom, I really want a dog. I really want a dog. I wanted a little dog. And my mom comes to me and she tells me this. Your sister wants a dog. I'm like, okay, Mom. But I knew, because the whole trend that was going on, I knew why she wanted a dog. And I told my mom, don't get her a dog. Well, why is that? So here's why. Because there's this whole trend going on. Girls are just taking their little videos with little dogs. And, what's going to happen is she's going to do that for a while. That trend is going to end. She's going to get bored of the dog. And the responsibility is going to fall back on us. Don't get her the dog. My mom gets her the dog anyway. Whatever. It's her choice. She gets her the dog. My sister went, she did the whole thing. Taking pictures with the dog. Had the dog up in her bed. Bunch of videos. Dog mom. Within about 3 months, the responsibility for make sure the dog was fed, make sure the dog was bathed, make sure the dog was, cleaning up after the dog, all fell back on me and my mom. It essentially became my dog and my mom's dog. And that is exactly how women treat marriage and commitment. You see, my sister wanted the dog. She wanted the dog, but she didn't value the dog. They want relationships. They want it. It's like a kid who wants a toy. Women see relationships and marriage like a flashy toy. A flashy toy that, like, the kid really wants it. He's going to play with it. If he gets it, he's going to play with it. Maybe for like a week, get bored of it. It's just going to end up in the bin. Just going to end up in the bin with all the other toys that they're bored with. Bro, women don't value it. They want it, but they don't value it. Why do you think they get rid of it so easily? If they wanted it, if they truly wanted it, why do 70 to 80% of them get rid of it so easily? Why do you have women like this saying, well, even if you have a good man, he hasn't done anything wrong. He's not abusive. He hasn't hit you. He isn't toxic. He does what he's supposed to do as a man, but you're not happy, so get rid of him. Does that sound like someone who values something or someone who just wants something? Something to think about, because I truly don't understand what it is that compels men to get married nowadays. Like, I truly don't. Me as a traditional, Christian man, even I mean, I don't understand why secularists get married in the first place. Like, literally just live together and do your thing. I don't understand why you're making this vow to each other. But even for married men, even for Christian men, I find it increasingly difficult to justify any reason for them to get married, or in the very least, to get the state involved in their marriage. It's absolutely blows my mind that people still do it and still do it without even thinking about it. But let's keep going with the video.
And this is seen as a good and almost a giving thing, a nice thing for the husband, that she would leave him so he can find somebody that really takes joy in him and is really actually happy around him and really truly loves him. So in a way, this woman is encouraging other women to do their husbands a service. Hey, if you're not feeling it anymore, move on. Honestly, this kind of thinking does so much damage. When gaining happiness is the supreme value in any relationship, it's gonna turn out to be toxic. It's gonna turn out to be just kind of a selfish, what can I get from this? And of course, you're not gonna be in a good place. If you're constantly looking, how can I personally fulfill myself in this relationship? Of course it's not going to be a good dynamic. Of course you're going to run out of the initial infatuation of the relationship, and as time progresses and as that love moves from kind of that initial infatuation stage into a more secure, faithful, just a steadfast love that I've heard relationships turn into as people get married and they're with each other for numbers of years. Like, when you're experiencing that, all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I'm not experiencing the butterflies initially, as I initially experienced, so something must be wrong. I must need to find this next hit of love, or I need to fall in love with somebody new because I'm falling out of love with this other person.
Yep, that's exactly how they go about it. They chase happiness instead of the values that you actually made. You made vows, right? Like you said, they think that this butterfly, cloud nine happiness, like when you were on your honeymoon, should persist throughout their entire marriage. Or it's like they forgot the vows that they made. The vows even tell you what to expect. For better or for worse, through sickness and health. It's like through the good and the bad. Like, there's going to be good, there's going to be bad. There's going to be stretches of a marriage where you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be stressed out. You guys might not see eye to eye. Is that a reason for divorce? This woman is literally telling other women, even if everything else is right, but you're just, you might be bored, or you might just want to experience the butterflies again. Just break it up. Just break it up. Men, you need to hold on to your commitment, like, firmly, and do not very easily give it up. I don't care how much these girls beg you. I don't even care if they stop talking to you. I had two girls this year stop talking to me because I didn't give them commitment on their timeline. I was talking to them. They really liked me, and they made that very clear, and they wanted me to commit to them within like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They wanted me to be their boyfriend. I literally have the text message to prove it. They were sending me like, Facebook videos or Instagram videos of like hinting at, wanting to be in a relationship, like trying to subtly say it to the point where they just like verbally were just texting me. So like, when are we going to do this? Like, I'm just like, yo, I don't think you value this. I don't know if you value this. I know you want it. Quite frankly, though, I don't care. I don't care if you want it. She wants it. She wants it. She wants it. I don't care. I'm not giving it to you. You need to prove to me that you value it. I don't care if you want it. Women, like I said, they're like little kids. They see a flashy toy. Bro, I literally covered a video, I think it was my last video or the one before that, where a woman was saying that she just wants to get married because her looks are fading and she wants to have said that she did it.
But what's truly amazing is her reasoning for wanting to get married
she's just
again.
Toxic and
I
crazy.
also really do want to get married again at some point because it's totally out of vanity because I would like to do that before I lose some aesthetics, right? Like, I'm in my early 40s. I'm already kind of pushing the hands of time, And I would like to be in a white dress and have some nice photos taken.
Wow, I just can't believe some hot...
Wow, bro. And see, that is literally what men are afraid of. That's literally a woman that wants to get married for the wedding. And that's what men are afraid of. That's why they don't want to get married anymore. Younger men, older men, same thing, bro. Literally wants to get married because she wants to get some great wedding pictures before she loses her beauty, which she acknowledges is on her way out the door. And it's like, bro. And literally, she even admits she wants to get married for vanity. And guess what? There's a sucker stupid enough to hear this, turn his brain off, and marry her anyway. There's literally men out there like that. It's absolutely crazy. And this is why, bro, you got to vet the woman well and find out why does she want to get married? That's a big question. And really understand her motivation behind it. Because girls just like this, I just want to get married just because there's just something I haven't experienced and I just feel like I want to experience it. And, they get the wedding, they get the marriage, they get the commitment, and then they don't value it. Once the honeymoon phase, dies down, they got their big day, they got all the attention, they got the photos. Now real life happens, and then, I'm not happy anymore. I just feel like I'm losing myself. I just feel like I want to go find myself, and I just feel like we're not on the same page, and there goes half your stuff. Vet these women right, man. Some women want to get married just to, kind of scratch it off their list, to say that, at least I got married. It doesn't have to work. They just want to have said that they've done it. Isn't that crazy? I just want to have it on my resume that I've got married once. Here are the pictures to show it. Here's the honeymoon pictures. Here's the wedding pictures. That way, I could have had that experience in life. That was literally the woman in the video's whole sentiment there. That she wanted to get married just to say that she'd done it for vanity reasons. Out of her mouth, she said it. I just want to get married for strictly vanity reasons. And then men are bro, stop giving women commitment, bro. At least stop giving it to them easily. Make them work for it because they don't value it. They want it. They really want it. You see all these videos of them complaining, men don't want to commit. Men don't want to commit. They just want to play the game. They just want to be out here, going from girl to girl. Well, it's better. That to us is a better thing to do than to commit to somebody who you're going to put all this effort into, put all this time into, and then they just throw it all away because, well, I'm not happy anymore. Okay. Well, yeah, then I'll just have her, and her, and you can stay there begging for me to commit. Since that's the way women want to play it. Now, I don't think men should go around, doing multiple women, But I do think that you should be very, very, selective when it comes to giving a woman your commitment. Like, hold on to that thing for dear life and make her work for it. Because like this man is showing, women, they chase the happiness aspect of it, a fleeting thing that can't even be held on to. You, even without the man in the picture, can't sustain happiness every single day, 24/7. There's days, there's weeks where you're unhappy, but you think somehow a marriage is going to come along and be the exception to that rule, where you're going to exist in this marriage without any ups or downs, without any fluctuations in your happiness levels? It's absolutely crazy. So anytime you come across a woman who values happiness or chooses her happiness over the family, chooses her happiness over commitment, chooses her happiness over the well-being of the children, over the vows she made between you and God, get rid of her. And that's why you need to ask the right questions. Before you even take a woman seriously, ask these questions so you can see where her values lie. Because you will come across women who want commitment, but don't value it.
I think this highlights not only a misunderstanding of what marriage is, but a misunderstanding of what love in a relationship looks like. Look, I don't pretend to be an expert on this, but I know this for sure, that if your hope is in staying in love with a person, which is completely based on feelings, right? I feel in love with this person right now. Your relationship is going to fall apart, because what it needs to be is a decision to choose to love this person. I choose to love this person regardless of how I feel, because look, my feelings are going to go up and down. It doesn't mean that, okay, today I love them and tomorrow I hate them, but some days, hey, you're just not going to be all there. But what is the calling? It's to love them anyway, is to show up anyway, to choose to love them. That is an action as opposed to being in love with somebody, which is...
Yeah, and women are out of practice with that. This is something that men practice their entire lives. Men do things that they don't want to do, but they have to all the time. We make vows. We are more trained to stick things through than women are, right? So when women get into a relationship, they don't have like the training, the years of training of sticking things through despite their emotions. Men, we have to do things despite how we feel all the time. We have to... So when we get into a relationship, we've had years of practice doing things we don't want to do, but we have responsibilities, we have commitments, we have duties, so we do them anyway. We grit our teeth, put on our big boy pants, and we go out and do it. Women, they spent the majority of their life only doing what makes them feel good. They have the privilege, because life for them is so much easier, they have the privilege of just chasing happiness. They don't have as much duty and responsibility as us. So they have the privilege to just chase happiness for the majority of their life. So when they meet you now, you're just an extension of that happiness. You're just a thing to make them happy. You're not a person. You're not someone you're making a vow to. You're just a thing that has potential to make them happy. Why do you think they want you to come with so much stuff in their relationship? The money, and they have these exorbitant standards. He has to have this, he has to have this, he has to have this in place. Tall, extremely good looking, rich, successful, can lay it down in the bedroom. None of these are like actual values that will actually be for, sustainable, or values that one would look for sustainability in a marriage. These are just factors that would make me happy. I want him to be super tall because that would make me happy. I want him to have a bunch of money because that would make me happy. I want him to, have all these flashy things because that would make me happy. And if he doesn't have it, he might be a great guy, have all the values and characteristics that would make him an excellent man. But he doesn't have the things that would make me happy, though. So, you know what? I'm going to go for this F-boy over here who lacks the morals, who lacks the values, who lacks the integrity, because he has the flashy things that will make me happy. And this is why most women would choose the rich man who has multiple chicks, as opposed to the man who has, as we've all heard, 50K, regular guy, but has the morals, the values, the standards, and the integrity. They'd choose the flashy guy over him, because he has the things that would make them happy in the moment. But even that isn't sustainable. Why do you think they still dump the rich guys? Look at Tom Brady. Look at all these rich men's wives. they still leave. Based on the metric that women are looking for, these women had everything: the money, the status, the fame. They have anything they want. And still, when they had everything in the palm of their hand, it wasn't enough. If that doesn't tell you that happiness cannot be sustained 100% of the time, then what does? And when a woman thinks, even when she's attained the delusional thing that most women want and got the rich status for fame, good looking, tall guy, when they get it, even then it isn't enough. Because when you're always chasing happiness instead of the vows and the commitments that you made, it's always going to be a recipe for disaster, because you will never be able to sustain happiness 24/7. So run from those women. You want a woman who values duty and responsibility and the vows that she made. So question these women hard, man, and really see where their values lie.
Nice feeling, which there's nothing wrong with that, but that's a feeling that we can't be completely guided by. Now, when we talk about marriage, God's definition of marriage is completely different from what the world proposes. Like I said, the world is all about, hey, how can I get something from this arrangement? God's definition of marriage is two people becoming one flesh in order that they might display God's glory, and in order that they might display the love of between Christ and his church. This is why I think it's so important to make sure that your future spouse, the person that you're dating, the person that you want to marry, has their own relationship with God, and that their faith is grounded in the scriptures, that they're not kind of pulled to and fro by what the culture decides is truth. Because at the end of the day, if one of you is saying, this is a covenant, this is not just a decision that we're making before people, but rather a covenant that's being made before God, that isn't going to be broken unless there's some sort of, abuse or sexual promiscuity or, those kind of exceptions that the Bible lays out. Apart from those things, hey, we are here. We are going to work through whatever it takes. Unless both of you are on that same page, you leave that door open for them to leave. And obviously there's things that happen where you get married to somebody that you think is a Christian and things are solid, and all of a sudden you hear stories of this, they deconstruct, or maybe they're abusive or whatever else, and those are really tragic and just awful situations. Here and now, you can say, okay, are you on the same page as me? Are we in this? Is this a covenant that we're making before God, that, divorce isn't just going to happen because we're getting tired of each other, or maybe you're not experiencing as much happiness as you want to, or as much fulfillment? Like, the key here, I think, is to recognize, what can I do? What am I doing to actually bolster this relationship, as opposed to when it gets challenging, when it gets tough, am I just going to leave because, hey, I want to be nice to you too. You're probably not super happy either, so I'm doing you a favor by leaving. That's not God's way at all. The conversation often revolves around falling in love with somebody or falling out of love with somebody. Like, falling out of love with somebody is an excuse or justification for leaving a marriage. But I want to go to the biblical definition of what it means to love somebody. In 1 Corinthians 13, it says, love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. This is a complete refute to a selfish love that is only in it for what I can get. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. This steadfast love that, hey, regardless of what we're going to experience in our lives,
That last part, all of that was valid. But see, that last part endures all things, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. Endures to the end. You want to find a woman who's going to endure it all with you, right? Who's going to be there through the thick and the thin, who understands the duty of marriage, who's there not because she's looking for an extension of her happiness, just another toy. You don't want to find a woman who's looking for another toy that's going to make her happy for another, hopefully 5 years, and then the toy gets boring and then she has to seek out another toy. A lot of these women are just in a constant loop of seeking out that toy, and they hope this toy is going to come in to their lives and make them forever happy. And that's why some of them just are constantly chasing this thing. A lot of them don't even get to the marriage phase because they're constantly chasing the next toy. Well, maybe if the toy comes with more money, that'll make me happy. Well, maybe if the toy is taller, that will make me happy. Well, maybe if the toy has more status and he can fly me around and put me in certain environments, that'll make me happy. And they just always chasing this thing, this happiness that is always running from you. Happiness is always going to be something that you have to chase after. Man, you want a woman that pursues peace and purpose and duty. Peace, purpose, and duty, right? Because peace can be attained. Peace is something that can be sustained. I've seen it, actually. My dad, the way he structures his life and structures his marriage, structures his household, you can actually sustain peace by putting certain elements in place, not allowing certain people in your environment, cultivating your personal life, and keeping certain elements out, keeping certain elements in. You can actually create an environment where you sustain peace. That's sustainable. You can do that. Happiness is a level above that where you're just like on cloud nine, your emotions are at an all-time high. That is not sustainable. But peace, you want to find a woman that pursues peace, chases peace. That is sustainable. Purpose, what's her purpose here? What is she doing this for? Is it for her family? Is it for you? Is it for God? You want those to be her purpose. God, the family, you. Those are her purpose. Right? That's what you want. When a woman has that mindset behind marriage, when you ask her the question, so what is your view on marriage? What is your reason for marriage? My dad told me early on to make sure I ask the woman that I'm dating or courting these questions, these pivotal questions. That's what he asked my mom, and that's what my mom asked him. They're both very religious people, and they knew that they had to choose a person who had the right mental, the right viewpoint when it came to this monumental commitment. You have to ask these questions, and they better have the right answer. And don't you dare make excuses for them or try to, rationalize their wrong answer. If they give you a wrong answer, take that answer and thank God and get out of there. Because then you'll be sitting across from a woman, like you saw in the beginning, telling you, well, he's a great guy, even if he's done nothing wrong, even if, he's a great guy on paper, but you want to go chase a new toy because this toy isn't making you happy anymore. That's fine, ladies. That's fine. Don't feel bad about that. Trying to make it sound good. It's not. If you make a vow, then you need to learn to keep it. And that's why marriage should not be something that you jump into quickly. It's something that you take a very long time and talk through every aspect of it and make sure you guys are on the same page. That way, you don't come into these problems. But let's keep going.
Revolves around this pursuit of personal happiness. But God today is calling us to a pursuit of something greater, of something grander, of our responsibility and our calling in Christ to love somebody so much more than ourselves. This is a high calling, but it exemplifies God's love for us, that when we didn't deserve it, God loved us. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, subscribe because I'm putting out new content out like this.
That was a great video. He gave great perspective on what it actually means to be committed, what it actually means to go into a marriage, and the values you need to have, right? Not this worldly, secular, just pursue love. Love is all that matters. If I'm not happy, then that's justification for me to leave. No, that's nonsense. That's absolutely nonsense. That's not what marriage is. If that's how you view marriage, then don't even get married. Just date. Just be in a long-term relationship. Why make a vow that this is concrete forever if you have the intentions of, if I'm not happy, that's justification to leave? That's literally goes against the whole contract that you said you're signing up for. So it's pointless, which is why I don't understand why secular people get married. And it's why I don't understand why religious people involve the state. But that's another video that I'm going to get into. But anyways, guys, that's the video. If you got value from it, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, take it easy.